What's up guys, Artem MMA Analysis here, going to be talking about UFC 279 Chimaev versus Diaz, and this is my early quick picks, I guess you could say. In 48 hours time I will be giving you guys my full card predictions and breakdowns, but for now this is my early predictions, my first look at the card with you guys, thinking about who am I going to pick now, and then maybe with some research my pick could change. So you're going to see some very unconfident picks, but some fighters that I do know pretty well, and I will be confident in those. I did just release earlier today a Dana White's Contender Series Week 7 prediction video in collaboration with Burt MMA. So if you liked that video, definitely subscribe to Burt's channel. And if you like the collaboration, we will be doing more collaborations in the future. And you can expect more collabs. But yeah, I don't like wasting too much time in the intro. This is a very long card as well, 13 fights, and a few fights that I probably will talk about for a lot longer than I should. But first you got Darian Weeks taking on Johan Lainesse. Darian Weeks minus 135 is the slight favourite, taking on Johan Lainesse, and it's a very interesting one as to why Darian Weeks would be a slight favourite, because he is 0-2 in his UFC career. He did lose his debut to Brian Barberena, where he took the fight on short notice. I believe he was meant to fight a Dana White's Contender Series but pulled out, and then he got a contract anyway because he fought on short notice. Brian Barberena arguably won that fight. There is a good argument there. And then he took on Gary, and he did lose the decision there. But he did have a pretty good account for himself. Johan Lainesse, this is the guy that ruined Justin Burlinson. Justin Burlinson went 17-1 as an amateur, was 6-0 as a pro. Fought Johan Lainesse, and we learned that Johan Lainesse hits hard. This guy can knock anyone out at 170 pounds, and that's just a fact. Like you can't really argue with that. He's got powerful days, but he's got no cardio. He's got probably 3 minutes of cardio, if even a round of cardio, and this guy is tired. You know, he knocked down Gabriel Green, almost put him out, and then just completely gassed out. If Darian Weeks survives the first round with his clinching pressure, he's going to win, and he's going to run away with this fight. It's not an easy fight to predict. I'm actually going with the favourite in Darian Weeks. I'm not too surprised that so many people picking Lainesse, but I think that Weeks is underrated, man. Like, he's a 5-2 fighter, but this guy's pretty good, and he is definitely going to have made development since his last fight with Gary. Johan Lainesse, no cardio, man. This guy's got powerful days. He probably could knock out Darian Weeks to kick off the card, but I've got to go with Darian Weeks to start off the card. The next one, we've got Elise Reed versus Melissa Martinez. Open and honest, I know absolutely nothing about Melissa Martinez, but any girl that is in the UFC should be able to defeat Elise Reed, unless your name is Corey McKenna. But yeah, Melissa Martinez, she's 25 years old, hasn't fought for 2.5 years, and even then it was a split decision win, and they signed her anyway. So how am I supposed to know what Melissa Martinez is going to look like after 2.5 years off? It's pretty hard to know, but you can only assume that she's going to have made a lot of improvements since then. She hasn't fought since she was about 22 years old, you know, and she's taken a lot of time off since then anyway, so she would have made improvements. Elise Reed, I guess she's a pretty good kickboxer, but she really is a bottom of the barrel UFC fighter. She did have a good run in Cage Fury UFC, but got dominated by Sijara Eubanks, barely defeated Corey McKenna, and then she lost to Sam Hughes. But Sam Hughes is on a win streak right now, but I guess Martinez should win. I mean, Reed's not as bad as some people think she is. I think that Reed does have a pretty good kickboxing game for the most part, and even then, her grappling's not terrible. She's just not very strong for 115, which is a weird thing to say because it is strawweight, but she's not the strongest fighter in the world. I'm just going to go with Martinez. She's undefeated. She just got signed to the UFC. Obviously, she's something special about her. She had Anne Haliga versus Hailey Alating. Going with Hailey Alating. Did not expect him to be this big of a favourite, though. And I don't like the fact that he is this big of a favourite. Only 28% people picking Alating. A lot of people on Anne Haliga. I don't really understand why. He lost the first 2 rounds against Jesse Strader, and then dominated the 3rd round after hurting Strader and then finishing him eventually. I mean, he robbed Moin Gafarov. Moin Gafarov took him down 5 times in that fight. I have no idea how they gave him the decision, but I guess he's got to win over Bridie Highstand, who was on Ultimate Fighter Season 30. But Hailey Alating, I mean, he's not a guy I'm super hyped up about. I did have him in a parlay against Kevin Kroom, though, which I guess cashed because Hailey Alating knocked him out pretty quickly. But I don't know, he hasn't shot for takedowns, which I think is potentially a path to victory over Anne Haliga. Anne Haliga is more of a jiu-jitsu fighter. I know he hasn't really shown it in his UFC career, but he does have a brown belt in BJJ, and he's more of a grappler in my eyes anyway. But Alating hasn't shot for a takedown, which I think is his path to victory since he fought Ryan Benoit in his UFC career. Everything apart from that, he's been fighting on the feet. I think that Haley Alateen just wins anyway. I will look into it a bit more, but I'm not too sold on the 35, almost 36-year-old Anhalaga. Norma Dumont getting a freebie over Danielle Wolf. Danielle Wolf went like 39-16 as an amateur boxer. I think she ended up getting like some sort of gold medal and had some success as a boxer, but she never went pro. She only fought amateur. I think she was trying to go for like a run in the Olympics. But I guess Danielle Wolf's been training MMA for a little bit. She defeated this 3-0 girl on Contender Series 2 years ago. Now she's 39 years old, fighting Norma Dumont. Like, this might be like a midlife crisis sort of thing for Danielle Wolf. I have absolutely no idea why she's fighting MMA right now, but I guess if Norma Dumont just gets one takedown, it should be over. Like, I remember Norma Dumont being more of a striker, but her grappling has to be better than Danielle Wolf's right at this point of her career. Like, it just has to be. I mean, it is women's MMA, so who knows if she actually does train, but she's got 2 wins by submission, actually, so maybe she could get it done. But, yeah, I guess, like, it's probably a fight I won't watch, but it is what it is. Jake Collier taking on Chris Barnett. I'm going to be going with Jake Collier. I'm pretty confident, man. It's going to be a weird fight, because Jake Collier is 6'3", Chris Barnett's 5'9". This guy's tiny in height for 265 pounds, but I hope they just keep him anyway. Like, he's 36 years old, but he's entertaining. He throws spinning kicks. I mean, he just throws everything. He's quite funny. He knocked out Jan Vellante with a spinning wheel kick. I mean, the potential knockout of the year. Then he did lose to Martin Broudet, who's way bigger than him. Milked a back of the head shot, which wasn't back of the head shot, but or whatever it was. He milked something that wasn't illegal. But yeah, Jake Collier, he beat Andrei Arlovski. Got robbed. It wasn't like as bad of a robbery as a lot of people were saying, but he did get robbed in that fight. And then they're giving him a layup. He really should be able to beat Chris Barnett. Jake Collier, though, is just an oversized middleweight. Like, he used to fight at middleweight, and then all of a sudden now he's like ballooned to be like a big heavyweight, and he is having some sort of success at heavyweight. Like, he does have good movement for a heavyweight. He does have some sort of power. Like, he did beat Chase Sherman, which I guess is somewhat aged into a not terrible win, but yeah, I think Collier should be able to win this fight here. Now, okay, a fight which I'm excited for, but I almost guarantee you there's probably less than 10 people excited for this fight. I'm hyped for this fight. Let's go, Dennis Tulin. I think that Dennis Tulin is the man. Okay, this guy for Aliaskhab Khizriev on short notice when no one else would fight Aliaskhab Khizriev. This guy had like 4 cancelled fights before he made his UFC debut. Dennis Tulin, like an absolute savage, steps in on like 1-2 weeks notice or so, and I think it was rescheduled to be a little bit longer. But yeah, Dennis Tulin steps in on short notice, fights Aliaskhab Khizriev. Doesn't look terrible. He was like a plus 650 underdog. He didn't look too bad. His defensive grappling was impressive. And on short notice as well. I think Jamie Pickett, all this guy does is wrestle. When he doesn't really wrestle to take you down, he just wrestles to put you up against the fence. I think Dennis Tulin's defensive grappling, from what I saw in the Khizriev fight, is going to be good enough to kind of prevent that from happening. And I think that Dennis Tulin beats him on the feet. I'm going to go Dennis Tulin by knockout. I mean, this could be another one of my Charlie Ontiveros versus Gabriel Benitez picks. It could be a terrible one, but I mean, I'm the only person on the planet excited for this fight. But I'm going to go with Dennis Tulin. You've just got to, I mean, you don't have to, obviously. Jamie Pickett's got a clear as day path to victory, but let's go Dennis Tulin. I think that he's going to get it done. I think he's going to knock out Jamie Pickett. I mean, Tulin was looking alright. I mean, against Khizriev, he really was. He's got good defensive grappling from what I've seen. He's got pretty good striking. He's got KO power. He's knocked out a lot of guys in his career. Let's go, Tulin, 34-year-old. Tulin about to win in the UFC, in my opinion. Now, a fight that people hate. I don't understand. Okay, so Jailton Almeida versus Anton Turkalj. Anton Turkalj, let's be real here. He didn't have the greatest Dana White's Contender Series debut or fight or whatever, and didn't get signed because it wasn't great. But then Jailton Almeida's original opponent, Shamil Abdurakhimov at heavyweight, pulled out. So who do they call? Anton Turkalj. Anton Turkalj, like an absolute savage, takes the fight at a catch weight of 220 pounds. So Jailton Almeida is going to be a lot bigger than him in general. And then people were like, oh, Anton Turkalj is a loser, this and that. And it's like, bro, why are you hating Turkalj? He just saved a really good fight. Like, he saved a Jailton Almeida fight. You know it's going to be a good fight. And you know Jailton Almeida is probably gonna win by first round submission, but that's not the point. Anton Turkalj just saved the fight. Anton Turkalj is in the UFC. People hate Anton Turkalj for absolutely no reason. I don't know why. This guy's got a crazy KO spinning back fist in like 30 seconds on his record. He submitted a guy that was 8-0, and before that he was just finishing guys that he should be finishing. I don't understand the hate behind Anton Turkalj. I made an entire video about it. I'm picking Almeida by first round submission. I think that's probably the logical pick, but Turkalj maybe live at those odds, maybe. I mean, I really don't think so, but I did see Jailton Almeida at one point like minus 1500. I think that's what he opened at, and then people obviously jumped on Turkalj, I think at like plus 800 or something, which I think is pretty fair. I mean, if I saw plus 800, I'd probably jump on Turkalj at those odds. I don't think he wins. Well, this is a better fight than the Chimaev Abdurakhimov fight anyway. I love Turkalj for this man. He's got my respect. Hakeem Dawodu versus Julian Erosa. Hakeem Dawodu, more of a striker, I guess you'd call him, more of a Muay Thai fighter. I think he's going to pick apart at Julian Erosa for 3 rounds. I think he just goes the distance. I'm seeing some people comment. I don't know if it's here. It's not. Okay. But someone was like commenting that this is going to be complete domination from Dawodu. I don't really agree. Like, Erosa's a pretty big guy for 145. I mean, not that that makes a difference, but I think that Dawodu's just going to outland Juicy J for 3 rounds, sorry, and win a decision that way. I don't think this guy's got many KOs on his career, considering he is a kickboxer, but it is what it is. I'm going to go with Dawodu. Now, Johnny Walker versus Ion Cutelaba. So you've got no chin, Walker, versus no fight IQ, Cutelaba. I'm going to go with no fight IQ, Cutelaba. I mean, I always fade guys with no fight IQ because, like, what's the point of picking someone and then being super frustrated that they're not following their path to victory? But Ion Cutelaba always has a crazy first round. He always does. He always throws the kitchen sink in the first round. Johnny Walker's chin is done. It just is. I mean, yeah, he was eating bombs from Thiago Santos, but it's like a 37-year-old Thiago Santos at this point. Knocked out by Jamal Hill 6 months ago. That was 6 months ago already. Man, time has flown. That's actually kind of scary. But Cutelaba should knock out Walker. I mean, it's sad to see. I know Walker's training with Chimaev at the moment, and Cutelaba's probably more like got a wrestling base. Losing to Ryan Spann is not a good look at all, actually. It's a terrible... I mean, I'm just going to go with the no fight IQ of Cutelaba to win by KO. I mean, I just can't really trust the chin of Walker at this point in his career. Irene Aldana versus Meiki Yason. How in the world? I was going to swear, but I actually need the ad revenue right now. I'm trying to save up for university next year, man. Meiki Yason's a big bantamweight. She's 5'11" for 135. Which is big, and she fought at 145 in her last fight. Okay, this is not good at all for Meiki Yason. So I was going to say, I thought Meiki Yason fought at 135 in her last fight, and then she gassed out bad in the 3rd round because of the weight cut, and I was going to blame the weight cut and kind of give her a little bit of leeway there. She fought at 145 and gassed out bad at 145. This girl ain't going to last 2 rounds at 135. I mean, I think she's pulled out from quite a few fights or missed weight quite a few times at 135. I think she's really pushing it to make 135. I mean Aspen Ladd probably pulled out of those fights, but I feel like she's missed weight a few times in the past. I mean, she missed weight at 145. She missed weight at 145. How is she gonna make 135? I mean, Norma Dumont missed weight at 145 in that fight. I mean, no, but that doesn't matter. Like, how she missed weight at 145 against Raquel Pennington. I think that was a short notice fight, though, to be fair. But how's she going to make 135 and then have 3 rounds of cardio? She won't. And Irene Aldana's a good boxer with power. She recently knocked out Yana Kunitskaya. Was that the controversial fight where Yana Kunitskaya turned out to actually be pregnant while the fight was on? Question mark. I think it was. She knocked out Ketlin Vieira, who the UFC are trying to build for absolutely no reason. I think Irene Aldana's going to knock out Meiki Yason in probably the 2nd or 3rd round. I think Yason at 135. I mean, you talk about a lot of the men's fighters, they've got no chin, or they like lose their durability when they go down a weight class, and they lose their stamina when they go down a weight class as well. Yason, I'm going to be very surprised if she makes 135. And if she does, I don't think she's going to look great. I think she's going to have potentially a bad chin and potentially bad cardio against Irene Aldana, who's a powerful girl for 135. Powerful girl for 135. I think Aldana gets it done by KO in the second round, I'll predict. Now you move on to Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. This kind of fight was thrown together very short notice. I picked Daniel Rodriguez to beat Kevin Lee in his last fight, and that was 1 year ago. Daniel Rodriguez hasn't fought for 1 year. I don't know why, in my mind, I thought that he fought Preston Parsons after Kevin Lee, but everyone was going on about Daniel Rodriguez's last performance, Kevin Lee, and I was like, hold on, didn't he fight Preston Parsons? And no, he fought Preston Parsons before he fought Kevin Lee. I completely forgot that even happened. I mean, I knew that the fight happened, but I thought he fought Preston Parsons in his last fight. I mean, my mind on Daniel Rodriguez's career is just not working. I mean, this guy's almost 36 years old. He's been borderline ranked for the longest time. I think this is a good matchup to potentially get him in the rankings. But I think that Kevin Holland, believe it or not, I'm going to say Kevin Holland's a nightmare matchup for D-Rod. When he lost, I don't know. I think he was he robbed against Dalby? I know he fought someone that was a long-rangey kickboxer early on in his career, and he was having a lot of trouble with them. I'm not too sure who it was in UFC. But there was, I'll obviously go through the tape, but there was a fighter that he fought that had long kickboxing style, and he struggled against them. I think that Kevin Holland is just going to pick him apart from range and win a decision, so I'm going to go Kevin Holland to win this one here. It's on short notice as well. Kevin Holland has thrived on short notice. You could say the same about D-Rod. He fought Kevin Lee on short notice and won that fight, and Kevin Lee is still a pretty good fighter in my opinion. So we move on, man. Li Jingliang versus Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson plus 225. That's good odds, man. I mean, odds will never ever sway my prediction. I never pick anyone due to the odds. But Tony Ferguson at plus 225 in this matchup, I don't think it's too bad. But you just got to look at it like this, man. Tony Ferguson taking the fight on 3 weeks' notice, upper weight class, and you could say, oh, he fought at 170 in the past. Yes, he did, but that was like 10 years ago. And even then, Tony Ferguson probably was a little bit better built for 170 at that time. Tony Ferguson is still in his 155 frame. This guy got knocked out. Oh, it's 3. Okay, I was going to say 4 months ago. It was 3 months ago. Oh, no, Tony. Tony was knocked out 3 months ago. And in that time, I doubt that he's put on enough weight to be competitively in size at 170, especially against the Leech, who I say is a massive welterweight, and some people say he's only 6 foot with a 72-inch reach. The Leech is a massive welterweight. He just is. Like, he's a very strong guy. I know he was picked up and dominated by Chimaev, but he's a big boy. The Leech is a big man at 170, and he's scary too. And yeah, I guess like Tony Ferguson's got the grappling advantage. I think that's pretty clear, but I just think the Leech is going to be stronger at 170 than the 155 Tony Ferguson. And even then, is Tony Ferguson going to wrestle with the Leech? I hope he does. I really want Tony Ferguson to win this matchup, but I genuinely believe the UFC is doing this to double promote Khamzat Chimaev and also promote Chinese MMA, because the Leech is the most successful male Chinese fighter they've ever had. Obviously, they've got Zhang Weili, but the most successful Chinese male fighter is definitely Li Jingliang. And they're really trying to build a market in Asia right now. They're trying to build a market in China. They're trying to build a market in Japan. They've literally got a UFC Performance Institute in China. You know what I mean? Like, they're really trying to build that Chinese market. So I think they're trying to do that with Tony Ferguson's name, but they're also being like, man, Khamzat Chimaev dominated Li Jingliang, and look what he just did to Tony Ferguson, you know, because I do think that Tony Ferguson's not going to win this matchup, man. I think Li Jingliang's going to win. Honestly, I don't even know if I want to watch. I really don't want to watch this matchup, man. If Tony Ferguson wins, I don't know what I'll do. I'll be happy, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I am hyped for this card, not for this fight. Li Jingliang by knockout's the pick, probably in the second round. If Ferguson has success in the first, looks really good, and then loses, like he did against Chandler, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't think my brain or my heart would be able to handle that, like, change in emotions from happiness to sadness, you know what I mean? But now we've got Khamzat Chimaev taking on Nate Diaz in the main event. I'm I'm picking Khamzat Chimaev. I feel like everyone's going to pick Khamzat Chimaev. Like, I do want to pick Nate Diaz, but I don't think I could seriously pick Nate Diaz. I really don't believe Nate Diaz has a chance in this matchup, like, really at all. But there is a world out there where Nate Diaz doesn't get finished by Chimaev. Chimaev gasses himself out in 3 or 4 rounds, and Nate Diaz finishes Khamzat Chimaev in the 4th or the 5th round. There really is a reality where that happens. We've seen Nate Diaz picked up and thrown around by a smaller man. Like, I'm going to find his name, because it was a long time ago. You could say, well, it's a long time ago, it's irrelevant now, but it still happened. Where was it? Rory McDonald picked up Nate Diaz and threw him around like a child in their fight. And Khamzat Chimaev picked up Li Jingliang and threw him around like he was a child. And Nate Diaz, I don't think walks around as heavy as Li Jingliang does. I think Khamzat Chimaev picks him up, drops him, picks him up, drops him, and then picks him up and drops him again. I don't know, man. I really just think that Khamzat Chimaev out wrestles Nate Diaz, tires him out, I guess. I know Diaz has crazy cardio, but I just think Chimaev's going to finish him with ground and pound, or even a KO on the feet, even worse. And then Diaz is going to box Jake Paul, and I don't think Diaz beats Jake Paul in a boxing match either. Yeah, I mean, 11% people picking Diaz. I mean, that's fire, but I can't do that. But hold on. Yeah, no, I've got to go with Khamzat Chimaev in the main event. Sorry, guys, my energy just dipped in the main event. I think it's just because I realized that Tony Ferguson was on the card against the Leech, and it really hurt my feelings. But the picks Khamzat Chimaev. We'll go to the card. Khamzat Chimaev, Li Jingliang, Kevin Holland, Irene Aldana, Ion Kutalaba, Hakeem Dawodu, Jailton Almeida, Dennis Tiulin, Jake Collier, Norma Dumont, Haley Alating, Melissa Martinez, and Darian Weeks. And I think I've only got one underdog in the entire card so far, and that is Dennis Tiulin. I mean, let's go, Dennis. Let's make it happen, brother. But yeah, that's it for the video, man. Hopefully it wasn't too long. 22 minutes, that ain't too bad for a card that long, you know what I mean? We'll live with it. So I'll see you in the next one, man. I think tomorrow I'm going to upload something. I'm really trying to get back into the daily uploads. I might do like a Dan Hooker versus Claudio Puelles early prediction or something like that. And then after Dana White's Contender Series, I'm going to start kind of doing videos about like who I would give these Dana White Contender Series that are in contracts debuts. But after the show's over, so I think that would be a pretty fun video. You know, I think that's a good one. Yeah, I always waste way too much time in the outros, and I don't want to waste any more of you guys' time. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, leave me know in the comments if you made it this far. I feel like no one watches my videos for this long, but if you do, I really do appreciate it. I just love making videos, man. I really do. It's definitely something that I do that makes me happy, because like, I don't know, I don't really have like too many hobbies right now. I used to be really big into kickboxing. I do pride myself on my kickboxing background, because a lot of people think that I don't train. I mean, I don't anymore, but I used to. And now I've got no hobby, so now I just kind of sit on my ass and make videos on YouTube. So yeah, gonna try to get back into daily uploads. Apologies for the long intro as always. I'll see you in the next one. Really do appreciate it. I'm trying to set up like a Spotify podcast and all that, but I want to have guests on it, man. I don't want it to be boring. And even then, I don't even know if my following's big enough to get like a decent amount of questions for a monthly podcast. But it is what it is. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Thank you.